That toy your parents threw away might be worth more than their house today. And the worst part, you probably played with it. Some of the most valuable collectibles in the world were once ordinary toys, sitting on bedroom floors, tossed into closets, or donated without a second thought. Today, those same toys are selling for thousands, sometimes millions. These are 15 vintage toys worth a fortune today. 15 Lite-Brite 1967. Lite-Brite was never meant to be valuable, it was meant to keep kids busy past bedtime. Tiny colored pegs, a glowing plastic screen, and the absolute confidence that spelling your name in dots was high art. If you still have a 1967 original Lite-Brite, with the box, the instruction sheets, and most importantly, the pegs, collectors will pay hundreds of dollars for it today. Early versions matter. If the light still works and the plastic hasn't turned yellow from age, prices can reach $300 to $400. Not bad for something most kids used to draw stick figures and call it a masterpiece. 13. Atari 2600. Factory sealed before online gaming. Before consoles became disposable, there was the Atari 2600. This machine didn't just sell games, it created home gaming itself. Released in 1977, it brought arcades into living rooms and changed entertainment forever. And almost every single one was opened immediately. Kids didn't care about boxers. Parents didn't think classic shells would ever matter. That's why a factory-sealed Atari 2600 today can sell for thousands of dollars. Depending on condition and packaging, prices range from $3,000 to over $5,000. Not because it's rare, but because almost nobody thought to keep it untouched. And this is just the beginning, because the toys get rarer, the mistakes get more expensive. And the prices only get worse from here. 12. Game Boy 1989. Factory sealed. The Game Boy wasn't the first handheld console. It was just the first one that actually mattered. A gray plastic brick, a green screen, and a copy of Tetris that somehow consumed entire childhoods. Nintendo sold over 100 million Game Boys worldwide. Everyone had one. Everyone played it, and almost everyone destroyed the box. Screens scratched, buttons wore down, battery compartments corroded, and somehow everyone lost the battery cover. That's why a factory-sealed Game Boy, especially early Japanese release versions, now sells for $5,000 to $10,000. Not because it was rare, but because no one treated it like it would matter. 11. Teddy Ruxpin 1985. Working, boxed Teddy Ruxpin was either the coolest toy in your room, or the one that stared at you at night. There was no middle ground. This animatronic bear moved its mouth and eyes while reading stories from cassette tapes. In the mid-80s, that felt like science fiction. Kids hugged them, dropped them, spilled things on them, and wore them out completely. Motors failed, tapes jammed, firmwared beyond repair. That's why a fully working Teddy Ruxpin with original tapes and the original box can sell for over $1,000 today. Early Worlds of Wonder models are the most valuable. Most didn't survive childhood, the ones that did are now collector gold. 10. Easy Bake Oven 1963. First edition, the Easy Bake Oven made kids feel like professional chefs using a light bulb, and somehow, it worked. The 1963 first edition wasn't plastic. It was metal, heavy turquoise, and built like a tank. It used a real incandescent bulb to bake tiny cakes that tasted questionable but felt legendary. Most were used hard, scratched, burned, and thrown away. But a working first edition Easy Bake Oven, with its original box and accessories, now sells for $300 to $600. If it still heats properly and hasn't rusted or warped, collectors want it badly. Not for the cake, for the history. And now things start to change, because nostalgia turns into obsession. And the toys stop being common and start becoming impossible to find. 9. Barbie Dreamhouse 1962. Original cardboard version. The first Barbie Dreamhouse wasn't a mansion. It wasn't plastic, and it definitely didn't have elevators. It was cardboard, fold-out walls, printed furniture, mid-century modern design straight out of the 1960s. And that's exactly why almost none survived. Kids spilled drinks on it, bent it, tore it, moved houses, and left it behind. Cardboard and childhood are not long-term friends. But if you somehow still have the original Barbie Dreamhouse, with all its pieces intact, collectors will pay $2,000 to $3,000 today. Not because it looks impressive now, but because it changed how kids played forever. Barbie didn't just have outfits anymore. She had a life. 8. Lego Space Command Center 1979. This wasn't just Lego, this was imagination at full power. Released in 1979, the Lego Space Command Center launched Lego's iconic space era. Blue and gray bricks, yellow-suited astronauts, control towers, landing pads. This was the set kids begged for. And then, they built it. Took it apart, lost pieces and carpet forever. Mixed bricks with every other set they owned. That's why a complete space command center, with all original bricks, instructions, stickers, and box, can sell for over $3,000. Sealed sets are nearly untouchable. This wasn't a toy you kept, it was a toy you lived in. And now we're entering dangerous territory, because from here on out, these toys weren't just rare, some of them were never supposed to exist at all. 6. Hot Wheels Pink Rear-Loading Beach Bomb. This is the moment when the list stops being nostalgic and starts becoming unbelievable. A Hot Wheels car, smaller than your phone, worth more than most houses. The pink rear-loading beach bomb was never sold in stores. It was a prototype. The original design had surfboards loaded through the back, but the car was too narrow, too unstable, and didn't work properly on Hot Wheels tracks, so Mattel killed it. Almost all prototypes were destroyed. Almost. It's believed fewer than 10 exist today. And the pink versions are even rarer because pink was considered a girl's color at the time. When one appears at auction, prices explode. One sold for over $150,000. Not because it's beautiful, not because it's complex, but because it was a mistake that survived. 5. Original Barbie No. 1, 1959. Before Barbie became an empire, there was No. 1, released in 1959. The original Barbie arrived in a black and white striped swimsuit, with a high ponytail and a face that didn't look like any doll before her. Before Barbie, dolls were babies. After Barbie dolls had lives, fashion, careers, independence, most of these dolls were loved hard by kids. Haircut, paint worn, accessories lost. That's why a Barbie No. 1 in excellent condition, with original clothing and packaging, can sell for $25,000 to over $100,000. Perfect examples cross into six-figure territory. This isn't just a toy. It's the moment childhood imagination changed forever. Poor Mickey Mouse Tin Wind-Up Motorcycle 1930. This toy is older than most countries' modern borders. Manufactured in Germany around 1930. This tin wind-up motorcycle features Mickey and Minnie riding together. It's charming, it's delicate, and almost none survived. Tin toys, rust, dent, break. Kids didn't treat them gently, and World War II didn't help. It's estimated fewer than 20 still exist. In 2022, one sold at auction for $222,000 after an intense bidding war. That's not nostalgia money, that's museum money. And now we've reached the point where toys stop being collectibles, pose a calm, word text equals legendary, and start becoming myths. Because the next three weren't just rare, they were promised, cancelled, or buried by history itself. 3. Rocket-firing Boba Fett prototype. This toy was advertised everywhere. Catalogs, commercials, magazine ads. Kids saw it, kids wanted it, and then it vanished. The rocket-firing Boba Fett was designed with a spring-loaded missile that actually launched before it ever reached stores. Kenner panicked. A child had choked on a projectile from another toy line. Suddenly, anything that fired a missile became a legal nightmare. So Kenner cancelled it. Almost every prototype was destroyed. Almost only a handful survived, mostly kept by former employees or discovered decades later. A working prototype today is valued between $150,000 and $200,000. This isn't just a toy, it's a promise that was broken, and that's exactly why collectors are obsessed with it. 2. Original Steve Teddy Bear. Early 1900s, before stuffed animals were cheap, they were works of art. Steve Teddy Bears, made in Germany in the early 1900s, weren't toys meant to be destroyed. They were hand-stitched from mohair with jointed limbs and glass eyes. The giveaway was a small metal button sewn into the ear. That button was proof of authenticity. Most didn't survive childhood. They were dragged, hugged, soaked, torn, and loved to pieces. But if a Steve Bear still has its button, is in good condition, and hasn't been repaired poorly, collectors will pay $20,000 to over $100,000. Some rare models sell for even more. This isn't nostalgia. This is craftsmanship that outlived a century. 1. Madame Alexander Eloise doll. This isn't just the most expensive toy on this list. It's one of the most expensive toys ever created. The Madame Alexander Eloise doll is valued at $5 million. $5 million. Only 5 were ever made. She wears Christian Dior clothing, Oscar de la Renta 4, and accessories designed by Then comes the part that breaks your brain. She's adorned with 9 carats of real diamonds, plus Swarovski crystals. Each doll even came with a designer pet dog. This was never meant to be played with. It was a luxury art piece disguised as a toy. No confirmed auction sale has happened yet, but no one disputes the valuation. This isn't childhood anymore. This is wealth. Stitched into fabric? From glowing pegboards to diamond-covered dolls, the difference between a toy and a fortune was never the object itself. Pauza Kanwarji, text time. It was timing, condition, and a box nobody thought mattered. If your parents ever told you to keep things in the box, they weren't being strict. They were accidentally giving you investment advice.